C6.
Good day.
Okay. I'll call to order the December Finance Committee meeting. Welcome everybody here today. As usual, we will start with the consent. Ms. Scipio has asked that we pull C6, and I'm going to pull C7. Are there any others anyone would like pulled?
Move for approval of the balance of the consent agenda.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the balance, and we will vote electronically since we're all here. Maybe we won't.
We have to go old school.
Oh, that's okay. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So we'll do everything verbally. Okay, that's fine. Let me do C7 first. This was discussed at length yesterday at General Government. It was moved forward without recommendation because there were a number of things that were going to be researched between then and, again, this isn't coming till January the 8th. So I was just going to make a recommendation. We send it forward from Finance without recommendation as well to match the other committee.
You need a motion?
Yeah.
I move for item C7 to be forwarded to council without recommendation.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed likewise. And again, if you have any specific issues, please check with Attorney Carmen. She is the one that's working all that for us. There were a number of things, including the question you raised. Thank you. She's working that one. Okay, we'll now go to C6. If the clerk will please read that one.
Item C6, resolution authorizing funding for a white flag shelter with City of Dwellings, a community first initiative for $40,000.
Could you introduce this, please?
Good evening, City Council,
Good evening.
Chair Clark. I'm Sharika Floyd, Housing Programs Manager with Neighborhood Services Department. The item before you is for $40,000 to fund a white flag emergency shelter in partnership with City with Dwellings.
You might explain what a white flag is.
Yes, so our white flag shelter opens on any given night where temperatures are 32 degrees or below, which is considered freezing, or 38 degrees with the possible chance of precipitation. So that's rain, ice, snow. We also fund a overflow shelter, which is in coordination with United Way and the Continuum of Care. The overflow shelter is open each night when every other shelter in our county is full. So that's open every night regardless of weather, if the shelter is full.
Where is that shelter?
That is the emergency hotel vouchers.
Okay.
So we house, right now it's mainly families in motels because we do have an increase of homeless families.
Ms. Scipio, this is yours.
Thank you. I just wanted to make sure that the public who may be watching are aware of what we're doing for the cause of homelessness in our community, to help those who are in need. And it is important that we know that if you find someone who may be in need, to call the appropriate authorities so that we can take care of those who are in need. And who should they be calling if someone needs some support?
So we have a coordinated intake line. So it's a phone line that is ran by United Way, our coordinated intake center. So they're able to call that line to get assessments and as well as be connected to emergency shelter.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Adam.
I just wanted to comment again, the city, the county, all of us can do great things when we work together and everybody puts something in the plate. We're then able to do much more. Over the next 10 days or 8-9 days, the temperature every night will be below freezing, except for 2 days that it's supposed to rain, and that could be precipitation that's more like snow. I'm calling for snow. Thank you.
Thank you.
It's official now.
It's official.
Can I get a motion on this?
Move for approval.
Second.
A
Thank you.
motion second to approve C6. Now, we're going to do this electronically. There we go. Everybody please vote. That was approved. Thank you very much. We will now go to the general agenda. We will do G1.
Item G1, consideration of items related to Brushy Fork Stream Bank Restoration Resolution ratifying and authorizing an interlocal agreement with Forsyth County to provide funding to assist in the county's efforts to remediate and restore Brushy Fork Creek adjacent to Smith Reynolds Airport, located in the Northeast Ward.
Who wants to speak? Mr. Pate, I got your name written here, but I think I'll let him speak.
I will pinch hit, sir. Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman, Mayor Joins, Mayor Pro Tem Adams, members of the committee and council.
Good afternoon.
The item you have before you is a request for authorization of an interlocal agreement with the county and an assistance funding in the amount of $300,000 for the Brushy Fork Creek Stream Bank Restoration Project. In the area of Airport Road, Whitefield, we have some erosion along Brushy Fork Creek. The Airport Commission has met with the citizen groups around there, and they have obtained a grant in the amount of $300,000 to restore approximately 2,100 feet of stream along the headwaters of Brushy Fork Creek. So the city's contribution would be $300,000, and this action, again, is to enter into agreement with the county for the partnership in the stream bank restoration and a financial commitment of $300,000. Be happy to answer any questions.
I had a question for Mr. King when he was, or I guess it was maybe Mr. Rao. We're putting in 300 in this, the county got a state grant.
Correct.
300.
300,000 is my
Is the
understanding.
county actually spending any of their money?
Yeah.
We have a county
Mr.
representative here
Damon
that can-
Sanders Pratt is here, so.
Thank you. Good evening. So on this particular project,
Name and
Name and address for the record.
Damon Sanders Pratt, 1220 Foxhall Drive, Winston-Salem, North Carolina.
Thank you.
So as part of the grant project, there was a original grant application of $320,000, and there would have been an $80,000 match for 750 linear feet of remediation work. So the city representation from the manager's office came by and noted that the city was willing to participate up to $300,000. So the agreement indicates that the county's contribution would be the match for this section of the stream bank. The city's contribution would be $300,000 that was offered, and then north of this particular project area, the airport is working on another remediation project that would include $1.4 million for an underground storage pond that would also slow down the waters going into Brushy Fork Creek. And then in future years, for the next 3 years, it'd be up to $4 million. And those would be county dollars. But for this particular segment, this 2,100 linear feet, it would be the county contribution would be grant funds of $300,000. And then anything over, any project overruns, the county would pick up.
Okay, the other two projects you referred to, are they in the planning stage, or are they going to, I want to be sure this, and this is not my ward, but it's been an issue for
Sure.
a long, long time. Are we going to finally get it worked?
So they are. I know the $1.4 million retention pond is in the planning stage, and I actually attached the engineer's estimates of the different elements of that project to an email earlier to Assistant Manager King, who's not here today. But so you already have, he has that. So these projects are in the planning.
Okay, can I go back to Keith?
Thank you, sir.
thank you.
Thank you, sir. Are all these needed collectively to make this work?
Typically speaking, if you don't control the hydrology of a watershed, your stream bank restoration projects are going to be short-lived or damaged ultimately. So if you don't throttle that water back, what's going to come to it is unmanaged, the shear stress, whatnot. So to answer your question, yes, sir, they are needed. And in a watershed with this much impervious area, definitely.
Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just reminded, when this was all put together, we were in some pretty tense negotiations regarding the de-annexation of the airport. And this project by itself is needed, no question, but we also were working with the Forsyth County during that time to come up with a compromise that kept the airport in the city. And this is part of the negotiations that we would recommend to City Council that we participate in this.
Any other questions, comments?
Any comments from the council?
Miss, yeah.
Councilmember Burke?
Oh, excuse me. Well, Miss Scipio's next, and I'll get you. Go ahead.
We always look at the immediate problem and find a solution, and I know this has been a critical problem for some years. On Brushy Fork Creek South, there is significant flooding around the Skyland School, old Sarah Austin building, into Skyland Park, and into Evergreen Cemetery. As we restore this part of Brushy Fork, how will that impact downstream? Downstream is already having problems. So just at some point, I'd like for you to investigate that potential impact. Is it going to worsen and people downstream will continue to have their homes flooded? Or will it make it better so that we don't have that severe flooding that we have? It's right at Old Greensboro Road at the bridge.
Yeah, Councilmember Scipio, something of this magnitude, when you get down to what we call Skyland Lake and that area of Brushy Fork Creek, you're talking about square miles of drainage area there. Where this project is, it's got the airport, and it is nowhere near close to the watershed size that you're talking about down there. Will that hurt the situation down there to mitigate the flows, to keep the channel stable up in those head reaches of the watershed? No, it won't hurt it, but I don't think you could see tangible benefits, if you will, down that far into the watershed. We would still see flooding at high magnitude storm events.
Any other? Yes, Ms. Burke.
Thank you, Chair Clark. And I do appreciate all of the questions that have been asked so far. This is a problem that's been ongoing since 2015, as you know. And we have I participated in numerous community meetings to discuss these issues that directly impact residents in the Northwood Estates community, specifically on Whitfield Drive. Many of these homeowners' properties have been eaten away with this soil erosion. If you can imagine, since 2015, the damage that has been done to their properties. And so what I want to hear, and I think that Councilmember Clark asked the question, will this commitment from the city and the grant that will be coming from the county, will it completely resolve the issues that the homeowners on Whitfield Drive have been dealing with since 2015? And I know you know the answer, Mr. Huff. I have all confidence in you.
Yes, Councilmember Burke, we know the scope to be stream stabilization of 2,100 linear feet of stream bank. In the areas of the Whitfield properties that abut Brushy Fork Creek, would they get a channel that is the stable dimension, pattern, and profile? That is the scope of this work as we understand it.
Okay, and so with that $1.4 million retention plan that was mentioned by Mr., is it Pratt?
Damon Sanders Pratt, yes.
Sanders Pratt, excuse me. That plan is not necessary at this time to completely resolve the issues that the residents have been dealing with.
Yes, ma'am. They're complementary to each other, where the stormwater device is a bathtub that holds the water and meters the release into that stream, the watershed. But the stream channel is actually to keep the eroded banks, from being vertical. They're going to be laid back and stabilized as a part of what we call a natural channel design.
Stabilized, does that mean for a temporary period of time, or?
We hope it to be long-term. We've implemented similar projects in the city, Civitan Park, Central Park, Washington Park. It's a commonly used practice, and we hope that they would be a long-term project. Is it foolproof? No, it's not. It's got to be maintained. It's got to be, looked after. There is a maintenance component to it. But can it be long-term and sustainable? Absolutely.
Who would be responsible for the maintenance plan?
As we speak, Councilmember Burke, I do not know.
I think that we're going to have a commitment as far as the maintenance plan, whose responsibility it will be, and how often it will be monitored.
Yes, ma'am, understood.
But today, I am happy to see that we have the opportunity, the city, to commit. We have the opportunity to commit $300,000 to match the grant with the county commissioners to hopefully and prayerfully resolve this issue. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
You have a question? And I'll just make this comment, and then I'll vote to approve it. But my thinking or understanding was we were going to commit half, the county was going to commit half, 300. County then goes and gets a grant. Well, they could have applied that against each one of us, but they didn't. They applied it against their match. All I can say is this first project, and that's the only project on the books, the county has no skin in the game, and that concerns me. But with that, I'll accept for a motion.
Mr. Chair, I'm going to move for approval, and I'm going to have some comments after we get this on the floor.
Is there a second? Second. A motion is second. Any more comments? Then we'll vote.
Me.
Yeah.
Again, it goes back to what I said earlier, that all of the citizens of Winston-Salem, all of Forsyth County, basically deserve the same resources. When things happen that we as government officials or government is supposed to attend to, or is part of what we do, our scope of work. As Councilmember Clark said, that's the piece that concerns me too, that I really wish the county had let us know they were going to get a grant. We might have helped pay for that, half to go get it. We might have even had an opportunity to go get one ourselves, because we all understand, and I'm sure the county knows, it's going to be a serious budget season for all of us coming up. And anything that we can work together collaboratively, it reassures our citizens that we work together on everything. So again, as Councilmember Clark said, I really wish that this had come out earlier about this. And Keith, that's nothing to do with your department. I just wish we'd known earlier so we could have done more on our part, so we don't have to go into our coffers, because we're going to be doing a lot of that over the next few months.
Okay. Please vote.
I'm doing this for the neighborhood. Let that be for the record.
Okay. That is approved, and I think that is, thank you, Mr. Huff. Tell Mr. King you stood in admirably for him. Anything else to bring forward the committee?
One more thing.
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
Chair Clark, as I mentioned to you today, Mr. Rao, Mr. Tesh, City Manager, I really would like to see us put on our social media and marketing technology right now the proposed schedule for budget cycle. Community needs to know that. I know we let them know around February, March, whenever we start to get into it, but I think it would do us good to let our citizens know the dates of what is going to happen, and the possibility, as we know, things can change if something happens that we need to change the date. But right now, because there's so many people always impacted by our budget decisions, but I think more importantly, it's going to be even more than that this budget cycle, and I just want us to get ahead of it with communications to the citizens of Winston.
Thank you. With that, yes, ma'am, Ms. Burke.
Councilmember, Chair Clark, I would like to just ask if, when this comes back, this item G1 returns in January, if we can ask if the county can provide us an answer on that date during that meeting as far as who will be maintaining this, this plan.
Okay, I think Ms. Huff got that.
Thank you.
Thank you. With that, we are adjourned.